Hi guys! Rivers are a source of life for millions of creatures on Earth. But in this world, there are rivers that are actually very dirty and toxic, and have even been named the most polluted in the world. What's even crazier is that millions of people still use this river every day for drinking, bathing, and washing clothes, even though the water is already heavily polluted. Here are 7 rivers that have been named the dirtiest in the world. In first place is the Yamuna River in India, guys. This river flows for 1,376 kilometers and is a source of life for about 57 million people in northern India. But only 2 of its streams pass through New Delhi, and that's actually where 80% of the pollution happens. It's no joke. The level of fecal bacteria in the Yamuna River reaches 8.4 million mpn per 100 milliliters. In fact, the safe limit set by the Indian government is only 2,500. That means the pollution in this river has exceeded the safe limit by 3,360 times. It's heartbreaking that this river's dissolved oxygen level is 0. That means, biologically, the Yamuna River is already dead, because there are no fish and no aquatic plants that can survive there. Besides that, every year before the Chhat Puja festival, the surface of the river is covered with toxic white foam that can reach up to 1 meter thick. In October 2025, officials even had to spray special chemicals to dissolve the foam before Hindus could bathe in it. The Indian government itself has spent tens of billions of rupiah since 1993 to clean this river. However, as a result, this river remains one of the dirtiest in the world, even though decades of cleaning efforts have been made. Next is the Citarum River in Indonesia, which has also been named the dirtiest river in the world, guys. This river itself is 290 kilometers long, with more than 30 million people in West Java depending on it, including 80% of Jakarta's drinking water. Unfortunately, this river is very dirty and polluted. In fact, the lead levels in the Citarum River are 1,000 times higher than the limit set by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. In addition, the bacteria from waste reach levels 5,000 times above the safe limit, and it is also contaminated by mercury, chromium, and copper. In fact, the water's pH has even been recorded at 14, which is strong enough to burn human skin. One of the reasons for the pollution of this river is that there are about 2,700 textile factories operating along its banks, most of which dump their waste directly into the river without any treatment. Many residents still throw trash into the river, filling it with garbage along its entire course. In fact, in 2024, a pile of garbage stretching 3 kilometers and weighing about 100 tons formed, floating on the surface of the river and going viral on social media. What's even crazier is that the youth group Pandawara Group once cleaned up this river using their own money. But just a few days after it was cleaned, the river was dirty again with piles of trash. Besides that, what makes the situation even more complicated is that the factories along the river are textile factories that produce clothing for world-famous fashion brands. So every time you buy cheap clothes from international brands, there's a chance that the production waste ends up in the Citarum River. Next, there's the Ganges River in India, which is a sacred river worshipped by more than 1 billion Hindus and serves as a source of life for around 400 million people in India. This river itself is 2,525 kilometers long and flows from the Himalayas to the Bay of Bengal. Unfortunately, 296 points along the Ganges River have been recorded as heavily polluted areas, where 70 million tons of domestic waste in India are dumped into the river without being treated. In addition, millions of liters of industrial waste as well as corpses are dumped into this river every day. For many Hindus who are too poor to afford cremation costs, sending the bodies adrift in the Ganges River is considered a last resort. In fact, in February 2025, during the Mahakumbh Mela celebration, the level of bacteria from fecal matter at the confluence of the Ganges and Yamuna rivers was detected to be far above the safe limit, even though millions of pilgrims bathe in the river. In fourth place is the Buriganga River in Bangladesh, which flows through the capital city of Dhaka and serves as a lifeline for more than 20 million residents there. Unfortunately, around 3,200 tons of waste are produced by the people of Dhaka, and most of it ends up in this river every day. In fact, due to the severe pollution, a study from Jahangir University published in June 2025 revealed the presence of highly dangerous levels of heavy metals in the Buriganga River. The main source of pollution in this river is none other than the waste from the leather tanning industry in the Hazarabad and Kamrangirchar areas, where every day around 40,000 tons of tanning waste containing chromium are dumped directly into the river without any treatment. In addition, about 21,000 cubic meters of domestic industrial waste also flow into the river without any treatment process. In fact, at certain points, the water of the Buriganga River turns pitch black like ink and truly contains no oxygen. And biologically, this river has already been categorized as a dead river because aquatic animals and plants can no longer survive in it. In fact, because it's so polluted, local residents have reported that open wounds on their skin won't heal if they come into contact with splashes from this river's water. In fifth place, there's the Marilau River in the Philippines, which has been declared biologically dead since 1989, guys. In fact, this river is included in the list of the 30 most polluted rivers in the world released by the Blacksmith Institute and Pure Earth, where arsenic, lead, cadmium, hexavalent chromium, and various other heavy metals have been detected at extremely dangerous levels. The main sources of pollution in this river come from used battery recycling and small-scale gold mining carried out illegally. In addition, electronic waste, medical waste, and industrial waste are also dumped directly into this river. And due to the extremely high level of pollution, the impact is not only on the aquatic ecosystem. Frequent flooding also spreads toxic waste onto the land, damages agricultural soil, and contaminates fish farming ponds. In fact, fish caught in these waters also contain heavy metals that can be deadly if consumed. Next on the list is the Doce River in Brazil, which is 853 kilometers long, guys. The name Doce itself means sweet in Portuguese, but what happened to this river is the bitterest tragedy in Brazil's environmental history. On November 5, 2015, the Fundo mining waste dam managed by the company Samarco collapsed and released more than 40 million cubic meters of toxic mud into the river. This reddish-brown mud destroyed the village of Bento Rodriguez, killed 19 people, wiped out 14 tons of freshwater fish, and damaged the ecosystem along 600 kilometers within hours. Even 10 years after the disaster, the Doce River ecosystem has not fully recovered, with toxic mud still settling at the bottom of the river and contaminating the soil along its banks. As a result of this tragedy, in November 2025, the London High Court found BHP Group, which owns 50% of Samarco, guilty. The company was ordered to pay 132 billion Brazilian reais over 20 years and to compensate 600,000 affected Brazilian residents. And lastly, there's the Tietê River in Brazil, guys. This 1,100-kilometer-long river passes through the city of São Paulo, which has a population of 22 million people, and it should be a source of pride for the largest city in southern Brazil. Unfortunately, the river is actually very polluted and has turned into a giant sewage channel. One of the most iconic phenomena of the Tietê River is the mountain of detergent foam on its surface, where the foam comes from leftover household detergent dumped into the waterways by the 22 million residents of São Paulo. This toxic foam sometimes overflows onto the highways and covers bridges, much like toxic snow. In fact, in 2023, piles of foam up to 2 meters high covered bridges and highways on the outskirts of São Paulo. Efforts to clean up the Tietê River actually began in 1992 by the state water company Sabesp. However, until now, the problem of pollution in this river still hasn't been resolved. There you have it, 7 rivers that have been named the dirtiest rivers in the world. I hope this information is useful, and see you in our next interesting video.